Hello everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Ito. I am a first year MIS major and I'm running for Executive Secretary. Executive Secretary is a position with jobs I am familiar with. I held multiple leadership positions in Boy Scouts, where as a scribe I took minutes for monthly meetings, and as a quartermaster I kept inventory records and distributed inventory for events. The position of Executive Secretary is largely a supportive position, helping the board work efficiently during meetings. Now, if I may have a show of hands, may I see how many of you have ever struggled to understand anything they have ever read? That's the majority of us, right? Whether it be that it's written too formally, that the document is organized poorly, or the content isn't concise enough, I'm sure the majority of us have encountered the problem of a confusing document. Now, how does this pertain to the position of Executive Secretary? Jobs of the Executive Secretary include lots of writing, including the agendas and minutes for board meetings, as well as inventory records. One of my priorities would be to ensure clarity in what I'm writing for all of you, the board. After all, what point is writing something if no one can understand it? A few ideas I have to improving clarity would be to encourage board members to make suggestions to the agenda before the meeting, or to access the minutes document during board meetings and make revisions to what is typed when needed in real time. The last recommendation would be to organize minutes after meetings based on what pertains to individual board members or committees. So as individual board members, you would know what was most importantly spoken at the meeting. Now, as I said before, this position serves to support the board so that their communication is effective and understood. When this is accomplished, I believe there are many improvements to be made in how the board operates. A well-written agenda and minutes would be reflected in an engaged audience, individual understandings of duties, and efficient use of time in board meetings. My other main focus would be to use past records to make future decisions. As a board, I know that there is a good amount of guesswork to planning events. How many people will show up? How much food is necessary to order? How large should the venue be? I'm sure inventory records and past records of events play a major role in major decisions involving future events. My work would extend beyond keeping records, while also using them to help make decisions. For example, could we base how much water to purchase based on our current inventory? What major problems arose last year at this event, and how do we prevent them this year? Failing to plan means planning to fail, and it's one of the Executive Secretary's jobs to ensure good planning. As I stated before, my two focuses for office would be to support the board using clear writing and to use records to plan for future events. So I'd like to thank you all for your time, because it has been an honor to be in this position to speak with you all.
An executive secretary plays an integral role to any executive board. Beyond taking the minutes, what is the role of the executive secretary, and what is the most important quality behind a successful secretary?
The roles of the Executive Secretary, besides taking the agenda and minutes, are keeping inventory records as well as maintaining records of previous absent events on the archives. And any good trait of the Executive Secretary is understanding their audience. They want to make sure that the board can operate smoothly, which means that how you communicate the minutes, it needs to be in a way that the board would be able to read the minutes and know what occurred and what they might need to do if, say, any delegation of roles happened at that board meeting. They would need to be able to look at the minutes and directly see, okay, this is what I need to be able to do, and it's clear, it's concise, and it's not something that takes a lot of time.
As executive secretary, the work you put into your duties directly affects board meetings. How will you aid in productivity and efficient board meetings?
Having a clear agenda ahead of time is what makes a good board meeting flow. It gives a clear plan of what needs to be discussed and perhaps the amount of time that needs to be allocated towards each subject. So I believe that the agenda is the main thing, because otherwise the meeting might get off task or time may run long, so the board meeting isn't running as efficiently as it could be.
The executive secretary position is not responsible for coordinating any big events like some of the other positions. Knowing this, how will you expand upon your role beyond what is stated in your bylaws?
I believe that I would be able to contribute a lot as long as other board members would be able to delegate roles to me and work necessary to accomplish events.